Mr. Secretary, as you know, capitals around the world watching this programme right now want to understand what they can do between now and then to avoid those tariffs. What do they need to do? Have you communicated any metrics to them whatsoever?
Well, we've been talking to the trade ministers of the major trading partners for more than a month, and we've been talking to them. And so you have to understand, and this is what's difficult for your audience to understand, that tariffs are easy to understand, right? We have a 2.5% tariff on autos, and Europe has a 10% tariff, and other people have a 20% or 15% tariff. And that's sort of easy, so they can all come down. But it's the non-tariff trade barriers that are the difference. Some countries have a VAT, and they take that VAT tax of 20% and they use it to subsidize the production of their domestic industries. That's why we can't sell cars there, because they give a rebate. Either they give it directly. One country told me yesterday that they give it directly to their car manufacturer to make their cars cheaper. That's why they sell successfully and we don't. Others take the money and use it and give cheap energy costs to this production. And that's why the steel industry, why is everybody else so good at steel and we're not? It's because their governments subsidize it. So we really need to change the way trade works around the world. It's tariffs, but don't get confused that these non-tariff trade barriers, they are the monster that needs to be slayed.
You've been consistent about this argument: subsidized production, manipulated currencies, foreign trade barriers, something the president addressed just last night. Can we just sit on the numbers just for a moment? The EU, 20%, 24% on Japan, 34% on China. Just what exactly was the methodology to go through all those different barriers to entry that you want to knock down? How did you come up with these numbers?
Well, the Council of Economic Advisors, you know, the PhD economists of the administration, coupled with USTR, the United States Trade Representative, they publish a book called Trade Barriers, about this thick, right? And they've been analyzing for decades all of these different tools that these other economies use to hurt America, right? They won't take our corn in India. They won't take our beef almost anywhere. It's unbelievable. They won't take our agricultural products. They just treat us badly because we've allowed them to treat us badly. And when you finally go back at them and say, this has got to end, it's going to be tough for them because they've built their whole social network, their whole economies on basically exploiting America. And Donald Trump has said, it's time for America to change that. It's going to be difficult for them to change that, but eventually America is going to be treated fairly, and the production of American factories is going to be incredibly strong growth, and you're going to see that growth reverberate through GDP. Remember, people forget the D, gross domestic production. If you buy a foreign-made Toyota, that is not domestic production. Making a car in America, that's domestic production.
Mr. Secretary,